G'day, and welcome to Best Bits of 2021.
Yep.
Hello, Phil.
Hello. So the listen is coming from erotic.
No.
Exotic.
Exotic locales.
Erotic. Yeah, okay.
Well, Frankfurt.
Frankfurt, yeah.
Well, now we've got the middle of Frankfurt. So it's Frankfurt AM Maine,
Yeah. And Hesse. Yeah.
which is the middle of Frankfurt.
And then we got Glassland, Saskatchewan. It's in the middle of Canada.
Yes.
Oh,
Canada.
And 300 kilometers east of Edmonton.
Yes.
That's in like nowhere. Anything in Edmonton, near it. It's in no, but they are, and they know it, you know.
All right. And then we've got Squamish, British Columbia.
And I know people live in Squamish.
There you go.
Well,
yes. Yeah. Please tell your friends. We need more Squamish. 60 k's north of Vancouver.
Yeah. And we got Stockton, California. We know lots of people. You know lots of people.
I know lots of people in Stockton. The agricultural hub of the San Joaquin Valley, which is what I used to have to say in my Rotary speeches. I'm glad you remembered. That's so sweet. You remembered.
Yeah. Now you could pronounce the next one.
Ostersund.
Jamtland
County.
We need that young lady from when we do the nights on the radio. Triple R.
She does like
fun facts
in Finnish.
In Finnish, yeah.
And that's in the middle of Sweden, in Östersund.
And then we got Tel Aviv.
Yes.
And the West Bank of North Jerusalem.
And wait, can you say are you more familiar with Seoul pronunciations?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I'll try it. Seochogu.
Yeah. Seochogu Seoul.
On the Han River near Seoul.
Great for fried chicken. I can tell you that because all of Seoul is great for fried chicken. And then Moorabbin, Victoria. Wow.
Hey, I wonder how that happened.
Yeah. And Granford, Texas. 200 k's west of Dallas.
There we go. Oh, you can give me.
Ask Owen where that is. Maybe he was there.
Yeah, that's what we have to see. And then we've got, let's try it. Tufungaj, West Bengal.
Yeah, 200 miles north, or 200 k's north of Bangladesh.
I'll leave that one for you.
And Lortz
Vivo Dushit.
Yeah, Central Poland. Famous for pierogies. Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, so here we go. So we're going to do now the best bits of 2021.
And I'm sure you can compare some of our pronunciations in those like you did with the exotic locales we just did. Mm-hmm. Enjoy.
What is cowboy food?
Well, you got to think about the cowboys would, run cattle across long areas for long periods of time. So it had to be stuff that was stable in the wagon. They had a nice cook that was looking after them. Occasionally they would stop and do things. So really it consisted of beans, hard biscuits, which sounds like those cookies we talked about all those times. You had to dip them in some. Dried meat. So there's your jerky, dried fruit, and coffee, and whatever they shot on the way.
Yeah. So it's all stuff that was basically portable.
Yeah, that's right.
All they need was water.
That's right.
And a fire.
And it was, Dutch ovens and, frying pans, cast iron, a lot of cast iron.
Yeah, and they put it on the thing, started in the morning, and by the time they got off, it was all done.
That's exactly right. So it's stick to your ribs, really nutritious food. It was the old days, they actually listened to their bodies. So there'd be times where they'd start feeling depleted.
Yeah.
So they knew they probably needed something with a bit more iron and a bit more, awful.
Well, no, I was just thinking about them listening to their bodies because after eating all those beans, there'd be a lot of listening going on.
I have a cowboy coffee recipe, and then you put in a quarter.
One of those blue ones.
Yes, right. Yeah. So a quarter cup of grounds, and then a quart of water. So you want warm water before you put the grounds in.
Water,
and then you let it boil. Yeah. Rolling boil for a good period of time. Take it off, and then the trick is you get a cup of cold water and throw it on it, and it drops all the grounds down to the bottom.
Oh.
And
you don't need one of those French press things.
Don't need that. And it also, he goes, you'll never have acid reflux. It takes the heat of the rolling boil, takes all that stuff out of it. You'll never have a smoother cup of coffee in your life.
So this is pre-percolated coffee.
That is exactly right. And because there's recipes with eggshells and all sorts of stuff. Nothing like that in here.
You put eggshells. I can't. Or people would say, how did they get the name Jerky?
Ha-ha.
Maybe it was named one of the cooks.
No. Native Americans had jerky. Their word was charky, which means dried meat. Oh. So their word for it was charky. So I think just in translation, it became jerky.
Yeah. Nothing to do with the cook.
No. Although it's a good story.
Okay, now can I go on to sarsaparilla?
Yes, you can.
From the sassafras root.
That's exactly right.
And that's where they make gumbo filet.
That's right.
Is sassafras root.
It's a very, it's a Native American product.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, yes, sarsaparilla. So we're going back to the days of the chemists, which were the pharmacists making up, Coca-Cola and all those things, having a play around.
And sarsaparilla will have been probably like, oh, it's good for you and it cures this, that, and the other thing, right?
But cured a few things, they said.
Oh, okay. No, they lied about it.
They did lie about it. But do you want to know what they thought that sarsaparilla could cure?
Go ahead. Tell me.
Syphilis.
Ah. So you sprinkle it on yourself, or you internally or externally?
I don't know. Probably both. And they did say it could cure anything and everything, but I really think some people might have suffered.
It didn't help Al Capone. Well, he wasn't a cowboy, but.
And there is a very special stew. What is it called, Phil?
Son of a bitch. It's still, no, I stubbed my toe. No, that's what it's called.
That's right.
Can we say that on?
SOB stew. How's that?
SOB. It's like SOS.
The guys were out for a while and they started feeling a little bit run down.
Yeah.
They would make this stew that had basically everything in it from the animal except the horns and the hooves. So it had heart, liver, not too much liver because it makes it a little bit strong, brains, sweetbreads, tongue, marrow, gut, and pieces of tenderloin made up the stew. The marrow gut is a tube that connects the two stomachs of a calf that's not been weaned. Wow. And it contains a substance resembling marrow. And that is what gives it its principal flavor.
I don't think you could be able to buy that in the market here.
No. And the thing is, it sounds gross, and it probably sounded gross then, but all of a sudden, everyone going, you know what I feel like? I feel like that stew. Yeah. And they all did about the same time, and then Cookie would make it up.
Well, Americans love spices.
Yes, we do. But we don't grow them.
No.
To be honest, we don't have the climate to grow it everywhere. We grow a lot of things, but that's not using the land for that is not what it's used best for. Looking at what was most popular, there's a list, and I've added a few to it. They're all blends, every single one of them. There's not one standout sort of singular.
So many different ones. I mean, it depends what you're cooking, the origin of what you're cooking, all has to do with the blends. But probably, mostly all those blends probably originally were for, like an Italian food or Indian food. And now America really has their own blend with all the rubs.
So there's Saison, which is Puerto Rican. Saison has cilantro, cumin, garlic powder, oregano, salt, and ground annatto seeds. Now, can I just say one thing when I said cilantro? Yeah. Cilantro and coriander are the same thing.
Yep.
So I spent a good year, my first year here, going, I just want coriander, or I just want cilantro, and it was coriander. Yeah. I will mention tahini. We forgot to put this down because that is that's on everyone's lips at the moment.
I know. It's like came out of nowhere.
It is, so it's sort of citrus and bitey and good on
everything.
Everything, including fruit, watermelon, beer.
And I think originally it was for fruit, and then they got to rim the glasses of beer and margaritas and
Micheladas.
Yeah, micheladas. Oh yeah. Still scared to try that.
So we've got enchilada paste, which people do ask for a lot. It's used a lot for coloring.
Yeah, it's basically because it's called racqueado rojo.
Yes, so red. And that has annatto seeds, which is where the color is coming from, garlic, cumin, oregano, cinnamon, pepper, allspice, salt, and cloves.
But it's mostly coloring. You really don't taste all the other stuff that's in it.
No, and it's used for rubbing and marinating things.
Yeah, like chicken.
And if you put it with liquid, so water, oil, lemon juice, it becomes this red paste.
Yeah, and the other one is filet powder.
Yes, and we were the only people that had that.
Yeah. It's made from the sassafras root.
Yes, it's a necessary thing.
Yep, especially when you're doing some jambalaya. Mio Mayo, go to Hank Williams song.
Cajuns started using it in Louisiana, adding it to stews and things to thicken it. So you don't want to put it in your gumbo until the very end, or it gets a bit stringy.
Mm.
Sort of like okra.
So
Can, thicken and make it all slimy. You don't want that. I won't make any smart aleck remarks, Brendan.
yeah,
Jerk seasoning.
jerk seasoning. Yeah.
Yes.
From borders in Jamaica.
That's
Jamaica,
right.
Mom. Yeah.
That's right. So now we have carried jerk seasoning in the past, and it is so for a dry rub or a wet marinade. It's a spicy charred sort of dish at the end. Basic ingredients are pimento. So it's mixed with other peppers such as Scotch bonnet and onion, salt, garlic, thyme, and scallions, which we would call green onions.
And then they cook it over the steel drums. When they're not using them for music, I guess they put a little fire underneath them and they season wild pig and boar and
right.
Yeah, and they cook them over the coals in those.
And so this is another seasoning that came from people that were brought to America as slaves, and it's from their culture, and they would use it to, well, it actually says runaway slaves who would season wild pig's meat with it. Now we've got thankful to our neighbors up north.
Yep, the Montreal steak seasoning.
And this is so popular. It's one of those really chunky rubs that you make like a crust on the beef. And we've used it on lamb as well. And everything else you can put it on. But
if we could ever get the Weber one back in, Weber makes a certain one called that they serve at their store in Chicago. It's a Chicago steak seasoning, which is similar, very peppery and all, but just slightly different.
All of those are good because it just makes such a difference to the meat. This one has black pepper, coarse salt, cayenne, garlic, paprika, onions, coriander, and dill. Actually, I've never really tasted the dill in it. Maybe that's what's the difference.
Yeah, maybe.
Because I've got a big giant jar in the cupboard. We go through that.
And now we're back to one of the old-time favorites.
It's a true American flavor profile, this one. Well, it was on the East Coast, and it is
Old Bay seasoning.
And that's the one thing people come in, and when we couldn't get it for a period of time, and sometimes you can't be picky about what size you want. We might only have giant Old Bay. We might not have the little, and it might be all gone by the time you get there if you want to wait.
Exactly.
So it originated in Baltimore, Maryland. It includes paprika, celery salt, crushed red pepper flakes, black pepper, and it also, so they must have some secrets in here. They think it includes bay leaf, dry mustard, nutmeg, ginger, cloves, mace, cardamom, and allspice.
Like a little bit of everything.
Old Bay, people use it for all sorts of seafood. They also use it in crab boils. They use it in corn in the cob and chowder. Fried chicken. I've had it on my salad.
Yeah, you could put it on French fries and popcorn and
oyster stew.
Yeah. Now, and the most important one,
what?
Which I would probably get to try maybe because I'm not a big fan of it, is in Bloody Marys.
Well, Bloody Mary makes anything taste good.
No, don't eat now.
What?
Hey, Phil, you're going to have to talk because I'm going to eat a cookie.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Barbara says, we got to continue on. I want to eat. Yeah.
Oh, no. Italian pastries and cookies. Because last Tuesday was actually National Cannoli Day. So Brendan thinks that we need to explain what a cannoli is to people.
Why?
That's right.
If they don't know what it is, tough luck. More for us.
More for us. That's what I would think.
Yeah.
This is a little crunchy shell filled with, well, depending on who, what, where, when, why, but like what we're having today, luckily, it's filled with, you say it.
Ricotta.
Yes.
The ricotta cream. So.
Yes, and a little bit of pistachios on the end of it. And it is crunchy magnificence. Now, when did you first have a cannoli? When's your first memory?
There is none.
Because it's just always been there?
It was always there. It was always there. I don't remember try this. I don't ever remember that. It's not like sushi,
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I can remember my first time, but no, it was always in the house. It was always there for the holidays, Sundays. It was there. It was a staple.
Cannoli, not only through a Francis Ford Coppola movie, but have become Americanized. So, like everything, when it comes over.
Yeah, well, they have to change it for what they have.
That's exactly
right. And so the Italians, what they didn't have was mascarpone, which is the original recipe was mascarpone.
Yep.
But they used ricotta. Okay.
Perfect.
And I think they're sort of similar,
Yeah, I think so too.
I think one's more creamy, and that's it, and thicker. Now,
we've decided to add the cookies in because, why not? It's the whole thing.
Yeah, well, just goes together. You go to a pastry shop, there's always cookies.
Yeah, and I just love it.
Did I have to tell everybody where you went this morning?
Yes, you do. I drove my car to
to work. And
And
then I gave a hint last night because what we're going to do. And I said, well, since Barbara's going to be by work, the pastry shop is right there.
Yes.
So we'll give a little plug too for
you pronounced it correctly.
It's Cafe Siciliano Dolce.
Right. And it's on Keys Road.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's only like 2 minutes from us.
From USA Foods.
Yeah. And one of my favorite pastries is what you found for me over here.
Yes.
It's Gdayall.
Yes. I'll never be able to say it. So
yeah, it's because it's spelled so funnily, differently. It's SFOG. Now, how do you pronounce that? LIATLLE. Yeah. So Gdayall. And looks like a cone, or it's a triangular shaped, and it's all layered. How they make it, I have no idea. I wouldn't even attempt it, but it is so good. It's crispy. It has the ricotta filling inside, but a little bit with that fruit.
Yes.
Yeah. So
That's
that has
beautiful.
not left, and that was originally made by the Santa Rosa Monastery in Naples in 1700. That's what the 1700 was. I mentioned before. Yeah. So again, by the nuns.
It's poor women. It has like 100 layers of, phyllo or like little layers of pastry, and it is amazing. And I was so excited when I found it. I found it at Europa, which is sort of near us as well. And I do that sometimes. Like I'm like, oh my god! And the lady's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, yeah, I just have 4 of those. Thanks, 2 of those. So Jeanette once gave me the recipe. There's a recipe in the Sopranos cookbook to do it, but it scares me.
Oh, to make the split out.
Yeah,
it would scare you. It's got to be really hard. It's probably something you got to make a dozen times before you might even get it
right. And I think
look right. Yeah.
The other name was lobster tail.
Which looks similar. I think they stuff it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sort of like a bear claw of Italian pastry.
Oh, yes. Well, that is good. So the different things in what Jeanette makes at Christmas, the little fried donuts. Isn't that?
Oh, that's Streusel. Streusel.
Yes. See, I'm never going to say any of these.
So Streusel would have been one of the older ones because that's basically bread with honey poured over it. So it's fried bread with honey.
And it's magnificent. Actually, it's sort of like Italian fairy bread because then there's sprinkles on it.
Yes. I don't like the sprinkles. I just prefer. See, now my aunts made it 2 ways.
Yes.
Both of them had the honey on it and everything, but the sprinkles were different. So one they used like the hundreds of thousands.
Yes.
And the other ones were the more traditional. They sprinkle a little bit, really fine chopped the fruit.
Oh,
or the dried fruit.
See, I'd like that because I like the dried fruit.
And they sprinkled that over that.
Oh, yum. We've been busily running around stocking shelves.
So we're going to be jumping in and out and talking with other people.
And every customer that we speak to gets a spin of the wheel.
Whoa,
if you want to see the wheel spin
of
fortune.
I think I've had my last winter in Chicago, though. I'm too spoiled. Now that I've lived in Australia, I can't do winter in Chicago ever again.
We've got a couple of young men here that are shopping with us today, and you are?
Seb.
Sam.
Sam and Sam. That's easy.
Seb and Sam.
Oh, Seb and Sam. Sorry.
But it's like the S family. I went to school with the whole family. There were 7 kids, all with J's.
And your last name begins with an S, right?
Now, what brought you to USA Foods? How do you know about us?
Well, I saw it on. I saw it as we were coming here, and we came for a look.
Oh wow, that's fantastic! It's a good day for it.
Yeah. So you're riding your bikes, or how'd you get here?
Mom drove us.
Yeah.
So she's out in the car wondering where are you?
Oh no, she's over there.
Just wandering around having a look.
How about taking a chance on the wheel? Who's going to spin it?
Okay,
all right. All right.
Okay.
It goes around. Depends what color. And here's all the prices are here. You can see what you got to get. Oh, you get a
gift certificate.
Gift certificate. So you can spend $25 today.
That is right.
Oh, how lucky.
Yeah.
Go for it now.
Thank you.
You're welcome, guys.
Thank
See
you. Woo, a big winner.
Ooh, that was handy. You should have seen the faces. It was like, oh.
Well done.
I think that was very nice of the older brother letting the younger brother spin the wheel. I don't know if that would happen in my house. We've got Paul with us, who is from A Dingo Ate My Taco.
So I grew up working for my dad's barbecue restaurant. It's a county line restaurant in Austin, Texas. So that's what we try to do is we mixed smoked meats with fresh tortillas and fresh salsas. It's a backyard thing. Yeah. You would make Mexican-style barbecue. You would fuse those two worlds. And I don't know, 10 or 15 years ago, some people started figuring out hey, there's a real market for this. You can sell it.
Oh.
So when we
Kenzie, can you
decided that we were going to come here, I think that's what we kind of landed on. Is I know how to cook barbecue and I love Mexican food. So being the barbecue guy, I like to smoke meat. So the brisket is what everyone thinks about when they think about Texas barbecue. I'll even give the recipe here. It's salt and pepper, smoke, and thyme. That's it. So it's the brisket that we do. The carnitas are also smoked. We make a homemade chorizo, which is, you can get Spanish chorizo in Mexico.
So you make Mexican style?
We make Mexican style chorizo. It's
I
caseless.
have been in search
Yes.
of that for so long. Why didn't I order that on my taco?
Well, you can go out there and get another one.
I might have to
Yeah.
do that.
Thank you, Paul.
Paul, thank you
Thanks
so
for coming
much.
down.
I'm about to have my taco right now. Brendan didn't eat both of them. It was very dangerous.
Well, Brendan ate your taco.
How was it? What's your feedback on
It's
the?
fantastic.
And how did you find us?
I teach with a lady whose daughter-in-law lives here now, but is from the USA.
Yes.
When I go home, I always bring back little care packages.
Yep.
And she was telling me, because when her daughter-in-law is feeling a bit homesick, she brings her here and lets her go on a little bit of a spree.
Oh,
So
that's lovely.
fantastic.
So Trish, did you come for like just the ride?
Kelly and I worked together for 16 years, so and
That's
I've
huge, yeah.
spent many happy days in the US. So when she was getting the care parcels ready from her family, I'd say, "Can you please get me this, and this?" So when she went, "I'm going to USA Foods tomorrow. Do you want to come?" And I went, "Girl, are you kidding? Do I want to come?" Absolutely.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear it, and I'm happy I could help you, and I'm happy that I told you to come today.
Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to these tacos out front.
And
Yeah, he's from
15% off
Austin.
everything.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, they've got the best food in Austin.
So after lockdown, we came here, and this one and I actually cried in your store. So thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
We haven't been here 2 years, and this really keeps us.
This is the home. Yeah, coming home.
Right, Tom? Thank you guys so
Okay.
much for everything.
Thank you.
It's
You're
really
welcome.
home away from home. I wouldn't have lasted.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
thank
I'm
you.
hanging out too. Yeah, we'll get there.
We'll get there. Thank
Yeah.
you guys.
Yeah, well, the 50s was like happy days.
Well, it was. And I think the food we're talking about sort of goes from like almost late 40s to early 60s.
Yeah, to after the war.
Yeah.
To the like the Cultural Revolution of the
Yeah.
early 60s.
And people didn't want to necessarily want to spend all the time in the kitchen doing the hard work. And there was some new fancy shortcuts.
That's a cakewalk.
Really?
We're gonna walk through the 50s.
That tuna noodle casserole,
Yes.
much maligned because it doesn't take much skill other than using a can opener.
Uh-huh.
God bless the can opener. This dish was a staple in the 50s and 60s. It contained a can of tuna, a can of mushroom soup, various seasonings ranging from curry powder to
Yeah.
American cheese.
Yeah.
And then it is, if you go down a little bit, the potato chip casserole,
Ooh, yeah.
right? This is how my grandmother used to make it.
Yeah.
She then, so go as above, tuna and your cream of mushroom, and about 2 cups of crushed potato chips over the top.
Yeah, to get that
Yeah.
taste, the saltiness, the
And
crunchiness.
there was no noodles in it. It was basically tuna and
Ooh.
potato chips. It was fantastic.
And then we got chicken a la king.
Yum.
I don't think I ever
I
liked it.
liked it.
I didn't like the peppers in it. Well, at least the ones I had.
Well, my mom was pretty good because, like her, as a kid, she wasn't big on bell peppers.
Yeah.
So my grandmother used to make stuffed bell peppers, which is a 50s thing as well.
Yeah.
But
I
she
had
would make
those.
one, but just in a dish, not in the pepper, so my mom wouldn't get in trouble for not eating the pepper. So I'm pretty sure mom would have left that out.
Yeah.
But it had something sort of crunchy in it as well, so maybe celery. But the funny thing is the New York Public Library's menu archive shows that it was on like in many fancy restaurants,
Oh, yeah.
as well as on the Queen Elizabeth. So,
Oh, because it was the food of the day.
well, yeah, that's
Yeah,
probably true.
yeah.
But you can still get it in a can.
That's got to be better.
And
Uh,
the next one,
Ambrosia. We love ambrosia.
We
We
do.
talk about it all the time.
and we've made it at work too.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's yum.
So simple to make.
Yeah, it's just like, and for someone that doesn't enjoy a gelatin salad,
Mhm.
it's pretty darn close, Phil. Now, Wacky Cake is something that it was big in from what I have read, big in this era as well as in Depression times because it has no milk and no eggs and no butter.
Butter.
So you just mix in one pan some, cocoa and some oil and water, and you mix it up,
Yeah.
and vinegar.
And vinegar.
And it makes a lovely chocolate cake.
Oh, there you go.
Also, speaking about
And since you have here, it was so good for last minute guess
Well, yeah.
that
I
you
got
didn't want to
nothing
come
to-
back again.
That's right. That's the one. Yes, that is exactly right. Ugh.
Make them feel welcome. Here, have some cake.
Don't burn yourself on it with the vinegar or the heat.
Yeah.
And
And your favorite next one?
yeah,
Julia Child.
Julia Child. Well, she tried, and with her books, she did. She sort of brought French cooking to America because she really wasn't big on the whole.
No,
Two
but she
cans
brought
of
the
stuff.
whole level of cooking right up there.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, made people think about what they're eating and preparing and making it enjoyable.
This can be like this is exciting, and you can
Yes,
change the
it's an
flavor this way,
It's an adventure.
and people will appreciate it
Yeah.
too. And yeah, so she brought that up, and so French themed dinners, once her book came out, became sort of a thing. But really, beef bourguignon is a French casserole or
Yes.
boeuf bourguignon.
What opened up in the 50s? Okay,
Tell me,
and it's still around. Most of them, I think they all are.
I'll read it.
Dunkin' Donuts,
Oh,
1950 in Massachusetts.
Yes. Yeah, we talked about that.
1952 out of Texas, Church's Fried Chicken.
Yes. Yum.
1952 also, and started in Utah,
Right.
KFC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I
Yep.
think he started it, but then he moved south.
Yes.
Okay. 53 in California, the place you want to go when there's no place else.
In and out. No.
Denny's.
Denny's. Oh, yes.
Yes. 53 down in Florida. I'm going to Florida. Florida.
Florida with an R on the end of it.
Burger King.
Right.
Okay. And 53 out of Oklahoma is Sonic.
Okay.
Yeah, but Sonic's good. I like Sonic. I mean, they really made that cherry limeade.
Yes.
Remember we talked about that?
Yes.
54, back to California, and also all the link with McDonald's
Mhm.
because they were across the street, Taco Bell. And you know the guy that owned it, his last name was Bell. You didn't know that?
I did not know that.
Oh. And then in Kansas, how
Yes.
did Kansas come up with Pizza Hut? 1958.
Someone who had a hankering.
Hankering for terrible pizza.
Those in the days too when you had the salad bar with the sneeze shield.
Oh. So, copycat recipes that we're talking about today, they can be very similar to what you get at your local favorite restaurant.
And
Hopefully.
yes. And often the restaurant recipes are made with the ingredients that you can find in your kitchen. So it's nothing sort of weird. And part of the copycat is some things you have to substitute here or learn different names for.
Mhm.
Now,
Okay.
one thing I did miss, and I'm so sad because it's not at the local malls, the good mall or the bad mall, not at either mall anymore, is Orange Julius. So I spent this week sort of looking at recipes, and there's some good ones, but one of them was condensed frozen orange juice.
Yeah.
Right. And then I found a recipe of how to condense orange juice.
Oh.
I have
You put
spent
it in the oven and dry it out?
No, it's funny. So, you know when you get a popsicle and you suck all the juice out of the top
Yeah.
and you just have the ice left?
Right.
It's pretty much that. So you get orange juice and you freeze it
Yeah.
and then you let it defrost.
Yeah.
And the white bits stay at the end, the icy bits, and
Yeah.
you chuck those out.
Ah, okay.
But can I tell you, you got to be home for like 2 days. You got to watch it. I have.
When's the next lockdown?
It has been a fail.
Oh,
I've half defrosted. I went, yeah.
I think in Victoria we just had 2 people come down with the flu, so they might, lock down the whole state.
Okay, so I'm going to try to condense orange juice for everyone.
Yes.
But it was a bit of a fail in that I shouldn't take 3 days to make an orange juice.
Yeah.
But I'm going to give that a go later. So, Megan was talking how she likes those as well. So I'll let her know how my condensing goes.
So next one you got here, Jack in the Box tacos.
It's a fried shell. So they mix, and I've looked it up, meat and the beans together.
Yeah.
And then they put just like sticking like a triangle, like 2 slices or 1 slice of American cheese, so
Right.
melty cheese in it. Then they fry it, and then they stick just a little bit of lettuce and some taco sauce in it.
Cinnabon roads.
Cinnabon's finally made it here.
Yep.
You can smell it when you walk in the mall.
And it just goes right to the hips, huh?
Right to the hips. Now, we probably don't need as much anymore if they're all over Australia, but I think it's more the icing. Because you can make...
That's where all the fat is.
Yeah, well, it's all the good. Fat is flavor.
Yeah, I know.
And the truck of sugar in it and the cream cheese. It's all good.
Yeah.
Now, Arby's horsey sauce.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I
Right?
love mixing it with barbecues, Arby's barbecues. You get the little packets of
yeah.
at Arby's. They used to give the containers, because last time I went to an Arby's in Kansas, I went to the grand opening. They opened up one in Fort Scott, Kansas,
just for you,
and I had to go there just for the sauce. I don't care. Just give me the bacon, cheese, roast beef. Yeah, I'll take that. Thank you. Sit down. Yeah, where's all the sauce packets?
just drown it,
and just half. I used to use the two together is like phenomenal.
Right.
So barbecue sauce and a horsey sauce. So my horsey sauce is mixing Hellmann's mayonnaise.
Right.
And we have the Beaver creamy horseradish.
Oh, yes.
And
that's
mix
yum.
those two together. And it's pretty close. It's not maybe not 100%, but it's enough to say, yeah, this is okay. I haven't done it yet with the barbecue sauce, but now I'm thinking about I'm going home.
You go and do it. Yeah. Oh, get some fries and dip in it. The recipe on Top Secret Recipes, you've got it down because they've got 1 cup mayo, 2 tablespoons plus 2 teaspoons horseradish sauce. And then they've just added salt, a bit of sugar, and some vinegar.
Yeah.
So just may brighten it up and too with the vinegar. That would be good. So this is sort of the beginning of there's Oliver Chase invents the machine for cutting lozenges. So hence this is going to be the start, which is born later on, of Necco wafers.
Yeah.
Oh, 1893. Here's another one of my favorites.
Yep. Not mine.
No, Phil hates them with a passion, but good and plenty.
Great ads.
Yeah, they did the
Charlie. Yeah, Charlie said, love my good and plenty. Not me, Charlie. I spat him out. Jesus. I couldn't believe all that advertisement as a kid. I go out and had a nickel, bought a box, opened it up, took a bite, and I hate liquor.
A box of disappointment for you.
It's like having a bite of a beet.
If they could only make a licorice beet dish for you, that would be perfect. And this is actually the oldest retro candy still produced.
Oh, really?
The Good and Plenty's.
Oh,
Yeah.
1893.
Yeah, so and it's the way, even though, so that's candy. I don't know if peppermints are qualified differently, but that is the oldest one in its original sort of form.
And then 1907,
yes,
Hershey's introduces the Kisses. And it's only called the Kiss because the machine, when it popped it out, sounded like a little...
Oh, how cute!
Yeah, that's the reason.
I want to know: does anyone ever use the little paper tab to actually open it? Because that's why
I
it's
usually
there.
do.
I never do. I just rip into it.
1916 is George Demet,
and it's still Demet.
Yep, and it's the Turtles,
which we've got in recently.
They even named a group there for them.
And the chocolate covered caramel nut candy, and they sort of look like a turtle because the pecans stick out of the side and look like legs. But we can't get them all the time depending on weather because they do them seasonally, don't they?
Well, we bring them seasonally because they melting factor.
They do, but they're yummy.
Anyway, 1920s. Here we go. The Roaring 20s.
Yeah, and this was a booming era for candy, as you will hear. We'll probably have to run through it. Okay.
Hollywood brand introduces white fudge candy bar, the Double Zero bar, which is still available. We make a zero bar. It's on Hershey now.
Yes, that's right. We do get in a zero bar. Yep. And then we've got Henry Heidi creates. Oh, where are you?
The Juicy Fruits.
Juicy Fruits.
That's in a bag.
This isn't a bag. But usually get them in a box. I love these things. And
that made famous on another Seinfeld one.
Seinfeld Resurgence. Yeah, Elaine. That's right.
Yeah, right.
And in 22, there was a variation of gummy candy, and it was called the Dancing Bear, but later it became known as Gummy Bears. Now, I never would have thought they've been around since the 20s, but 1922.
And now we get some of the gummy bears in, of like the Jolly Rancher gummy bears, and Lifesaver gummy bears, and then we got these new ones now, the Muddy Buddies.
Oh, those are so good.
The little gummy bears with chocolate covered.
1923, the Baby Ruth candy bar, named for President Grover Cleveland's daughter.
Right, nothing to do with Babe Ruth. It's
no, Baby Ruth. Why do these people have these names? Grover, God bless him.
The Grover bar. It's like the Goober bar. Yeah.
Ruth.
Yeah.
Ruth.
Yeah, Ruth. Ruth was a popular, very religious name.
My Aunt Blynn was Ruth.
Yeah.
She was Ruth Blynn, but she hated Ruth, went by Blynn, which...
Jesus.
They were both bad.
They were both bad. Our family is not good for names. That's it.
And 1923, one of my always liked the Mounds bar. Mounds candy.
See, and I like Almond Joy because sometimes you feel like a nut,
and sometimes you don't. Yes, there you go. And 1928, Heath bars introduced the first covered toffee bars. So toffee is like a Butterfinger.
Yes. Crunch. So you crunch, and it was chocolate covered, and they were only sold by the dairy salesman.
Oh,
So milk.
make them special. That's
that
why. So the milkman had something to bring besides milk.
Ain't that the way?
Yeah, no, I think there was a little conniving in there.
Yeah, it could have been.
1928, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
Oh, and it's still a classic.
Yeah.
1931, still a what we have these in the shop, and they are huge favorites.
Tootsie Roll Pop.
So it's the first novelty candy since they combined two candies, two in one.
Where'd you get that from? Yeah,
Certs.
And so that is quite conventional, because I remember every kid used to like it and break it open and get to get to that chewy middle.
Yeah, and it was like how many licks to get to the middle of a Tootsie Pop, and if you got close, it was nice crunchy with the chewy, because the girl with no patience obviously did that.
Yep, and then 1949, Junior Mints.
Junior Mints, which I don't have here, but we do have, and they are magic.
Made famous again by Seinfeld. That was a big comeback.
That was.
Right, nobody wanted them until that episode. Then all of a sudden, bang.
The power that show had.
Yeah. And then 1958, Eric Burnett introduces the Chupa Chups. Now, I never seen that until we came here.
No, I hadn't either, but it's
in America now.
It is, and it also had 1968. It became. He said the labels became iconic, which we'll find out later. Actually, I'm just going to jump to it now. So, 1969.
Yeah.
Salvador Dali designed the label, and he insisted that the logo always goes on top.
Yeah. 66. Flair introduces Razzles. First it's a candy, then it's a gum.
It is so cool. That had a big resurgence in the 2000s or 2010s probably, with 13 going on 30.
And then 74, General Mills introduces the revolutionary Pop Rocks.
Oh, Pop Rocks. Where are you? We got them right here.
Yep.
I'm going to do this.
Oh, no.
I have to. Dolores can remember this, and people used to tell us that you would die if you ate too many.
Yep.
Okay, no.
There we go.
I won't be able to talk now.
Now we'll have to call 911.
The only bad thing is watermelon. I'm still going. But that was the thing. If you had that with Coke, you'd die. So I'm sure we all tried it, and we're all still here. Ugh.
All right.
You have to keep going because I'm still popping. Gdayall, the Pickle Show. Welcome, Phil.
Hey, how's your pickle?
We're getting a bit New York heavy. Here's another New York heavy.
There's a reason for that, you know?
Yes, I do know.
It's so good, so great a city, they named it twice.
Oh, God.
Well, when I was young, I never knew a pickle was a cucumber.
I didn't either.
And over here, they're pickled cucumbers. They don't call them cucumbers in America. They're just pickles.
I saw this quote. It was, a pickle is a cucumber that sold out. Like that one. Now, we've got pickle types we're going to talk about now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a lot of these we have in, but I need you to explain some when we get down to these. So you've got your genuine dill pickle. So that's like, we've been eating those today. So that's the dill flavor
and
through
then
it.
Some of them are more garlic, less garlic.
That's right. So it's a personal preference. Jeanette had a really good saying, because people would say, what one do you recommend? It's like, it is a personal preference.
It is. Yeah.
Everyone tastes different. So you can't just have, a consistency with that.
I like the real ripe, sour dill pickle.
That's what we're going to get down to in a second. So
okay.
Then we've got the kosher dill, which is manufactured and certified in accordance with Jewish dietary laws. They're very popular. They're more...
It's like what you get on the McDonald's hamburger. That's a dill.
Yeah. And they're more robust than dill pickles, so much so the name has stuck, and kosher dills are the ultimate accompaniment to a overstuffed dilly sandwich, which I agree. I think they're sharper. Now, we've got Bubbies.
Yes.
They are magnificent.
But those are fermented. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, we will. We will be talking about that. But they are a fantastic, they're a refrigerated item.
Yep. And they're totally different than anything else in the store.
That's exactly right. And the flavor is just...
hits you.
It does, but it doesn't make your nose run or your eyes water, but it's just beautiful. And there's the overnight dill, which is sort of a quick pickling. So you can just soak them overnight, sort of thing, in the in the brine. A lot of people do that quick pickling. Like I know back in California, you'd see that if you had too many cucumbers in the backyard, you could
do that.
throw
And
that together.
tomatoes, they pickle tomatoes.
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
Green ones.
Yes, and there's also Polish and German style dills. And now, Phil, sour and half sour. Hit me with what
I
the
remember.
difference is.
So the half sour, it goes by crispiness.
Right.
So like the Bubba's will be a full sour because they're soft.
Right.
And then like the Mercurius here, that's almost like a half sour. But there's another company in New York called Batenti.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Okay. And they make a beautiful half sour pickle. But so it has more crunch to it.
Yeah, I like
and it's still a bit riper than being pickled, fermented or whatever.
Right. So the full sours.
Yeah, full sour.
So that's the difference. So rather than it's the crunchiness is what does it.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're not necessarily a big fan, but I quite like bread and butter.
Yeah,
pickles.
I can tolerate the bread and butter. See, some of the other ones we'll get to that I don't like, but the bread and butter, that was like a new pickle to me because we never had them.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't have that probably till I was a teenager having a bread and butter pickle. And then the first time I had it, like, this don't taste like a pickle.
Well, see, that's what my family chops up and puts into egg salad or potato salad is the bread and butter because it's not overly sweet
but any pickle. I mean, you want to make a good egg salad, tuna salad, or whatever. Is to chop it up. Make sure you try to get some of the moisture out of it, and then put it into your salad, your egg salad, tuna, whatever, macaroni, a salad.
Oh, that would be good. Now, the sound effects we have are the Ralphie's got the donut out, his favorite toy, and Brendan's now chasing him around, and he thinks it's a game.
Yeah. All right.
Get out of the studio.
Right. So now, candied. I don't like these either. These are extra.
Why would you ever eat? What would you eat that with?
I don't know.
Would you put it in a Manhattan, maybe? Because it's sweet.
Sweet, yeah. I don't like. They are syrupy.
Yeah, nah. Let's skip that.
No, we'll skip that.
And they got no salt sweet. Never heard of that one.
No, but I just wondered because I was telling you I was trying. There is a sweet gherkin man olive does, but it has no added sugar. So I'm like, how did they do that?
Yeah, so that's.
But they did it. It's good, but I can't explain it because it's not overly sweet. But
I would think also, like it says, no salt sweet. But I would think that, well, I guess the sweetness or salt, you need one or the other or both.
Yeah, because salt brings out some, the flavor and some things.
To pickle it.
Now, sweet hot, like Dave's. Dave's had the really good sweet hot pickles.
Yeah, so first bite is a bit, it's a little sugary, and then all of a sudden, bam,
It's almost like a jam. It's almost like a chili jam.
Yeah.
They're good. Now
chili jam is good.
Yeah. We found this beautiful quote, and I think like so much of what we talk about, I think food means so much to America because it brings everyone together. You celebrate with it, you share your background with it, and this quote kind of stated that deli became a bridge that helped neighbors overcome prejudices and stereotypes by providing a judgment-free zone where people of all cultures, ethnicities, and faiths could enjoy a meal.
That's why I didn't say because we had all those big words in there.
The ethnicity one got me.
Yeah. But, like when I grew up, there was a deli on every block,
Yep.
So like around every corner, sort of like the Irish bar. And it was the same thing. It was people got together, so if you didn't drink, you went to the deli, but you still went to the deli if you drank. So it was a place to congregate, so you had 3 probably places in New York where everybody was equal. Candy store, the bar, right? Or the gin mill, as some people call it, and the deli.
Yep.
Those were, everybody went there. And, and even though like most of all the bars were Irish, most of all the delis were Jewish, and the candy stores were a mix of everybody.
Right.
So,
and
everybody was happy.
I suppose New Yorkers have a reputation of not wanting to get into some small talk with others. Yeah. Actually, I read that in a warning when you go to New York.
No, you've been listening to George Carlin again.
I always do that. But it was like, don't get a sandwich from Subway, go to a good deli, and don't try to make small talk with New Yorkers. They don't have time for it. They don't want it.
Yeah.
The earliest delis were run by Germans and Alsatians. So not all of them were Jewish. So the first delis were not necessarily the Jewish delis. And the Alsatians, not the dogs, the people from Alsace.
I never knew there was such a thing. I always thought the Alsatians were the dogs.
Well, that's, a lot of good things came from
And they look
Alsace.
like German shepherds.
They do. were responsible for charcuterie aspects. Do you know it took
They
me
didn't have charcuterie back then. That's new. That just came out.
that's the name. The old name, the new name. I think
Charcuterie is French.
I know. See? Alsatians. French on the French border. See? Right? The charcuterie aspects of the menu. So pickled tongue and sauerkraut was, sausages and Nobelwurst and garlic wurst and Frankfurt and the iconic Frankfurter, whose name suggests an origin in Frankfurt, Germany.
Could anything be any worse?
I
So,
just didn't see
pickle tongue.
knockwurst.
Remember Bart Simpson? That's the only sandwich you could taste you back. I haven't had tongue in a long time. The Italians eat anything, right? And we used to, my aunts or my father used to go out and buy tongue and cook it and slice it up. And
I like it when you still can't feel the taste buds on. You got to rip that off.
yeah, you got to take that off. Yeah.
But I used to love the knockwurst. That used to crack me up when I was a kid, and I used to see that.
Oh,
I don't know. It just sounded really sweet. Do you want some knockwurst with that?
Yeah. Well, and the other one, we used to have all the time, the Polish sausage.
Oh, yeah. I love that.
Kielbasa.
Kielbasa, you have that, chop that up with just a bit of cabbage.
Yeah.
Okay. So the Ashkenazi Jewish cultures of Germany, Poland, Romania, and Hungary, and the Russian Empire developed kosher versions of local meat specialties. This takes me back to Fiddler on the Roof when they all left.
If I was a rich man.
Topo. So it went from, this is how the evolution came. And when centuries of America's abundant beef supply, which we've talked about a couple of shows, because we had so much beef, they were able to have, lunch meats. And
Was I there? I don't remember talking about all this beef.
We did. We were talking about cowboy food.
Cowboy food.
And we also talked that people would come from Europe and go,
oh, yeah, because
all of a
beef
sudden you
was
have
the
beef.
secondary flavoring because they couldn't afford it.
Yeah, that's right.
And then the peasants ate all the good bits.
So you're not going to do what my husband does now. I go, we didn't talk about that.
Oh, we
You
didn't?
didn't say that. We have,
Okay.
and I've got proof. I can go back if I have to. And then, as things happened, the good old push cart in New York.
Yeah, and they're still there.
Everything comes from.
Yeah, the push cart. But now the push cart's migrated into the vans, the trucks.
That's right, the food trucks.
Yeah.
And those push cart, I read an article on the push carts, and they were having the same issues with the local government the food trucks are now having. They want to, don't make too much money on the street, don't take up too much room. So then it went to bricks and mortar.
Right.
So it's kind of returned back again.
But it's like wars that go on in New York where who parks where. People get killed over that. Yeah, back to the late 1800s.
Yes, that's right.
That's when all the pastrami, the corned beef, and the tongue were born.
That's right. And Jewish delis went from an obscure immigrant food to an American cuisine, which it is. The popularity of the cured meat can be turned back to the turn of the century when Irish and Eastern European Jewish immigrants were two of the largest inbound populations to the city. An influx of kosher butchers made its way to New York's Irish and Jewish neighborhoods, so the Irish often bought their meat from kosher butchers.
As they would.
That's it. And that's where it goes back to corned beef and pastrami. So,
because never put that together.
I didn't either until I read it. So, but it says
So St. Patty's Day is a Jewish holiday.
That's exactly right. And that's why we have.
That's why the Pope wears a little yarmulke. Yeah.
And that's why we have corned beef in the U.S. On St. Patrick's Day, but not in Ireland.
Yeah.
Product, jingles, and taglines. It's one of those things they stick in your head, as we found out now, for your whole life. Few of these things.
I know. We sing them all the time in the office.
We do. This is how this came up.
It just comes up. Bang.
Are you in good voice? Because I think you might have to sing a few things today if we don't have them up here.
I don't know if I'm always in good voice, but I don't sing in the shower because I'll drown. So back in 78, you remember back in 78?
I do. I was 9 years old.
Ooh. And do you remember eating the Apple Jacks?
No, my mom wouldn't buy those either.
J is for apple, J is for Jack, cinnamon toasted Apple Jacks.
I don't remember that commercial.
But you used to sing that song with me in the shop.
No.
Yes, you did, because I remember that.
I remember the alphabet. Alphabet cereal.
I am disagreeing with you because it was one of the first jingles that we sang. Do you remember that? And I went, yeah, I know that one.
I don't remember yesterday. That was Tuesday, right?
Or the copy paper.
Okay, now here's one of the iconic. We're going to talk about an iconic ad
Oh, yes.
that everybody, well, in America knows.
That's right.
Because Mikey.
Mikey likes it.
Mikey likes
It's
it.
made by, there's 3 actual brothers. These little kids are actual brothers.
Really?
Yep.
Huh,
That's why they're so, and they sound like they're going to beat each other up. I'm not
and they're
trying
from
it.
either Boston or New York or something.
Yeah, they
because
got that Philly. And so
Give it
there's,
a Mikey, yeah.
so the 2 older brothers who are about like 6 and 7 are sitting at the table, and the little brother's at the end. And here we go.
Yeah, Mikey. This is, so
Look at this stuff. Some cereal. It's supposed to be good for you. Did you try it? I'm not going to try it. You try it. I'm not going to try it. Let's get Mikey. Yeah. He won't eat it. He hates everything. He likes it. Hey, Mikey.
When you bring life home, don't tell the kids it's one of those nutritional cereals you've been trying to get them to eat. You're the only one who has to know.
Yeah, typically, I think they're from Boston.
The house is it. It's just, then we'll go into The Departed. They grew up to work for Jack Nicholson.
So we got rid of the fruit and breakfast. Now we're going to go on to lunch.
Oh, lunch. Now this song.
Probably the most, well, again, I mean, there's so many that are icons, and this is definitely from 1973 icon.
So I was saying, I was 4 and singing along.
My baloney has a
Kid's about
first
4
name.
now.
It's O-S-C-A-R. My baloney has a second name. It's M-A-Y-E-R. Oh, I love to eat it every day. If you ask me why, I'll say, 'cause Oscar Mayer has a way with B-O-L-O-G-N-A.
Oscar Mayer, the first name in Bologna.
How's that?
How can they call it Bologna? Is that like to make it better? It's Bologna.
Bologna.
Not baloney.
Well, I don't know how did that change, but every time I spell that word,
Yeah, you put an E at.
no, I sing it.
Oh.
I sing it. This is another classic from the same company.
Same company, another Oscar Mayer
And this is
one.
one I can hear my friends and I singing in the schoolyard.
Oh, I'd love
Goes
to
all the
be
way back
an
to
Oscar
65.
Mayer wiener. That is what I really like to be. 'Cause
Like
if
the little
I
kids just
were an
marching down like a little
Oscar
parade with a
Mayer
sign in front of them.
And
everyone would be in love with
And then one
me.
kid left behind, a gawky kid.
And he's mad.
Yeah, I didn't get a part of it.
He doesn't want to be an Oscar Mayer wiener. He's a loser. That's why. Oh, here is.
Oh, we're bringing up another level
So
again.
this is a condiment. Okay.
Like no other condiment?
No other condiment. This is very special. Anyone that's a fan of Wayne's World, please listen.
Yes.
1981.
Pardon me, would you have any Grey Poupon?
But of course. Grey Poupon. It even has wine.
Oh, it has one. I wonder if it has Parmesan.
Oh, Parmesan.
Chablis.
I don't know. No, they wouldn't use it. This is French. It's made in France.
I used to be.
Give us a visual on this side.
Okay. So there's 2 Rolls Royces. And first of all, let me just say they're driving down the road one at first, and he's got this tray that used to fascinate me as a kid because he had a glass of wine that didn't move. He poured gravy on his food, eating knife and fork, silver.
Yeah.
And so his driver stops him at a stop sign, and then
another guy rolls down the window, all nicely done up. His hair is perfect. Look at that. Yeah, his hair's perfect. And
it's blow dried in.
Yeah. Then they stick their hand out, and here's my Grey Poupon.
Do you know what else I wondered?
Hmm.
Did he give it back to him? Did they have to wait to the next red
Next
light?
light.
Or do rich people just give each other condiments?
Yeah, maybe that's.
I don't know. These are the things I thought of when I was like 12. I was like, does he get it back? Like, I'd want my Grey Poupon back. If we actually have it in the shop right now.
Yep. And now we come to the most exciting part. The winner of, after all, the breakfast, lunch, dinner, soft drinks, desserts.
Everything.
You get an upset tummy.
You worked too hard, you ate too much, the cheesecake made you greedy. Let your aching head and stomach
Same
hear
company.
this message from old Speedy. Alka-Seltzer, plop, plop, fizz, fizz. Oh, what a relief it is.
How that was
Plop,
like
plop,
embedded in it.
fizz, fizz. Oh, what a relief
Now,
it
I
is.
always got
Those
confused as a
speedy
kid.
bubbles relieve your upset
Because I don't
stomach
know,
and
do you
headache
drink
fast.
it while it's
For
fizzing, or you got to wait till it
afternoon
stops drinking?
Alka-Seltzer Gold.
I never could
Oh, what a
figure that out.
relief it is. What a relief.
Whoa. Okay, well, that was exciting.
It was. And now these things will be going through our head for
Pop,
days.
pop, fizz, fizz. Yeah. I can't.
Now we'll be back
Yep.
in a moment.
Okay. We're skipping ahead. What episode are we in? I don't know.
Episode 47.
Okay, 47.
I said it.
Yep,
Hawaiian
that's
food,
okay.
no 47.
Yeah, all right. Okay, how about not Hawaiian food?
Well, the thing that is not Hawaiian mostly, what is the most popular Hawaiian thing you hear besides Hawaiian punch?
Yeah, Hawaiian pizza. Right? Ugh, yeah.
There is a place in Maui called Lahaina Pizza Co. And it serves ham and pineapple pizza, but it's called Sweet Pig.
Sweet Pig.
I like that. Yeah. I think that it's cute. In Hawaii, they have, I suppose it is the real melting pot. So you've got, the island heritage from, the First Nation there. And then you've got, Polynesian, Chinese, Korean, Japanese, Philippines, Puerto Rican, and Portuguese influences. A lot of these people came over during to work on sugarcane plantations. So that's why when you go out to dinner, it is really a mix of
everything.
Of everything. Yeah.
They had the first fusion foods.
Absolutely. And it's a really happy surprise to go somewhere and find all these really cool looking things. So you will hear about things today that are going to sound a bit familiar if you're used to any of the other cuisines. The first one is called Simon, which is basically Hawaiian ramen. So it looks like it too. I can't believe I missed it. They even serve it at McDonald's.
Wow.
So it has a broth. It's a noodle soup, and it has, depending on who's cooking it, it has wheat noodles. It has char siu, so barbecue pork, linguiça, so there's Portuguese sausage, nori, green onions, and the little egg cakes as well.
Wow. So it's just like, let's just throw that in there.
I was listening.
I'm sure if you get it at the local corner store, you'll get some spam in it too.
That's right. And you can get it at 7-Eleven there too. And I was listening to a Hawaiian chef, and he said, I didn't know what cereal was. This is what we have for breakfast every day, until I was in school with some other kids. Then we're just moving on now. We're going to talk about huli chicken.
Huli chicken.
This is a grilled chicken. And there's so many restaurants and there's food truck parks, and you can just smell the grilling happening when I was
looking
there.
at the ingredients. It's pretty nice. You got soy sauce and pineapple juice and brown sugar, sesame oil, ginger, garlic, and Worcestershire sauce.
Oh, thank you for saying that one. You got that one right. Worcestershire? Well, we call it W.
So that's like a little blend of everybody.
It's like teriyaki, a Hawaiian
the
teriyaki.
English got in there too.
And that's quite good. Now, the next one.
Everybody doing the Loco Moco.
This is like the best hangover cure from what I've heard.
The Loco Moco. For that name, it better be.
So it is white rice. And then you put a hamburger patty on it and gravy. And top it with an egg.
Wow. Yeah, that is a hangover.
That's everything in it. You just need a Pepsi or a Dr. Pepper with it.
So the Cafe 100 on the Big Island is the home of the Loco Moco.
And it's been serving it since curing hangovers since 1946. The Hawaiians are the second largest consumers of Spam.
But it's so popular, Spam, over there. They even have a street festival, the Spam Jam.
That is exactly right. And you can get it everywhere. You from McDonald's.
Yeah, so if you're having an egg McMuffin or a sausage McMuffin, you can have a Spam McMuffin.
You can. Where's the coffee? People that aren't American are going coffee cake. So it's a cake made with coffee, but it's not.
It's like coffee scrolls over here.
There's no coffee in that. It's such a disappointment the first time I went.
What, having a coffee scroll?
Yeah, I was like, it's no.
It's just like that heap of white stuff on it that
out of the tub frosting that they just slap on it, and then all
and when it gets hot,
bread.
how bad it is for you.
It's in my arteries from like 1987 when I was here. And so coffee cake refers to a cake that you eat with coffee or tea. So it's sort of a heavier cake, and you need a little bit of refreshment to go with it.
To wash it down.
write it down. So we'll explain a little bit more about those traditions, and we both miss them. How good was it? Let me just tell you guys a story. The other week, we had a broken box of Hostess crumb cakes or coffee cakes.
And I wasn't.
I don't know.
With.
Nah, look at the look on his face. Don't swear. I think Sean passed him around, and I was like, oh, it was like
it's like a little puff of present. Yeah.
I was holding it, and it was like the clouds broke open, and a ray of sunshine came down, and there was angels singing. There were angels singing, and actually, who's it? A couple of the people that worked there that hadn't had coffee cake before was like, "Oh, this is really good," and I think
keep your hands off it. It was mine. Yeah.
But first of all, in the U.S., we don't have so many breaks during your workday.
No, you work or you don't get paid.
That's right. You don't have your smoko and your afternoon tea.
Yeah, in the morning tea.
That's right. You had the smokos in there. But you know that old saying, as we said at the beginning, like a coffee clutch or coffee clatch is actually, came from Europe. And it's spelled KAFFEEKLATCH.
Cafe Catchalicho.
Cafe clutch.
Yeah, like a coffee clutch. Yeah, that's how they got the word from.
That's exactly right. So that's where all the good gossip usually is.
Yep.
A little group of people having a chat.
Yeah, talking over because you hang around by the coffee pot. Right. We remember working at the car dealer, and I worked at EDS, and you go in the break room, everybody's hanging around the coffee pot.
That's exactly right. And like I said before, you don't want to be there when Lou Harvey's making his coffee because he would run it through twice. Yeah. God bless him.
I did that a few times. Well, in California, all the coffee was so weak.
You had to do that. Yes. Well, it would be nice. We didn't have that many coffee cakes, had a lot of donuts. And we also had, I made the mistake, my boss, Paul, he was a very imposing man. I poured him coffee, and it was the old days when someone go, get me a coffee. You go, yes, sir. And I gave him decaf. I didn't even think about it. And he goes, this is decaf, little girl. I learned my lesson that the orange one was the decaf pot.
Surprised they even had that. Usually that's only at the diners. Yeah.
For customers.
Oh, for customers.
Yes. But, I think there was, when in the 50s and things, people were entertaining, especially women's groups were entertaining more at home. Mm-hmm. So that would be part of it as well. There'd be bridge games.
Burned cake. You had company burn cake.
Well, that's right.
Yeah. Now nobody has company.
No, it's
but even before that, over here, it was hard to go, and even with our friends over at the Italian bakery, right? They're not open Sundays.
No, and that's when you visit.
That's when you go visit.
Yeah. Now, so here's a few things. Here's a few names. Yep. So if you have a favorite, yell out. So New York crumb cake.
No!
Well, yes, that's it. Coffee cake, because people have popped in either coffee icing or coffee in the recipe. Yogurt coffee cake.
Yogurt?
I knew that was coming. Well, you have cinnamon roll coffee cake.
Strawberry peach coffee cake.
That sounds a little bit too summery for me.
It's probably down in Atlanta.
That's probably blueberry coffee cake.
Yeah, the raspberry cream cheese coffee cake.
Now, you got me with the cream cheese. I might try one of those recipes.
And then the peach crumb coffee cake.
Yes, an apple and cinnamon streusel coffee cake.
And this is starting to remind me of Jay Leno when he used to read out all the weddings. And we had the classic banana streusel and maple glaze coffee.
I thought you were going to say one of those things where you go home and you order a salad and they go, would you like, Italian, French, ranch, blue cheese, green goddess.
22. Did this have 3 different ones?
Oh, there's a banana split coffee cake that had chocolate, strawberries, and banana in it.
I don't know. That'd be a bit over the top.
No. Yogurt.
And you got the
cream cheese.
Greek yogurt, cream cheese, and lemon coffee cake. That should be nice.
That would be
like
nice.
a lemon custard.
Now, cranberry pecan, that's probably I could deal. That's a Christmas coffee cake. Yeah. You could have that Christmas morning. And
the mocha nut.
So there's your coffee and your coffee cake.
Yeah. And then we got the amaretto, which is also like a nut. It's hazelnut.
But that's beautiful.
Amaretto cream cheese coffee cake.
Ooh, I think we should try that.
And then the snickerdoodle
coffee cake.
Yeah, so the peanut butter one, right?
That well, no, snickerdoodle.
Snickerdoodle's peanut
No.
butter. What's a snickerdoodle?
It's cinnamon and sugar, which is
I didn't know.
basically a coffee cake.
I'm not a baker. I'm an eater.
You're an eater. I know. I
I'll eat the
understand
sweets,
that.
but I'm not. I don't do cakes. That's one thing I tried. I tried it, but no, I'll just stick to the savory stuff.
Do you know that we had a customer in similar to this conversation years ago, and we had the sugar cookie mix.
Yeah.
They go, "Why don't you have snickerdoodle mix?" And I said, "If you make the sugar cookies and then roll it in cinnamon and sugar, you got a snickerdoodle. That's all you have to do." I don't think they had a mix, Phil, and I think the recipe was on the back of the bag. So now our favorite Seinfeld.
Yeah.
There's
hate the Drake. Love the Drake.
got a bit on Drake's coffee cakes there. Their quote was, "We were not the first to make coffee cakes, but we've made them since 1930, so we've kind of perfected them."
Yeah,
so a little bit of a humble brag.
One time we were in Jersey.
I was going, well, yes.
Yeah. So Jeanette, she was, I don't know, I was, the house was like pretty well separated. So I had music on downstairs. She came downstairs. She like turned it off. I'm listening to Zeppelin. Of course you can't listen to, at 2, volume 2. It's,
it's got to be it.
And then one thing led to another. And then she's decided, Mom, that's it. I'm out of here. I'm going to my mother's. Okay, fine. And then she decides to take the dog. So I go down, sitting it on Middle Road, which is where we lived. We lived on Laurel Avenue in Hazlitt, right?
Yes.
Anybody listening from Jersey, exit 117. So I chased her down. I said, "You can leave. The dog stays." Same situation. I'll leave, and the pizza's coming with me.
Gdayall, and welcome to episode 49, Sopranos Food. You can try to imitate it, but there will never be nothing like it. So much revolved around food. No matter where they were always eating something.
Well, it's family of Italians.
And that is a quote about the making of Sopranos, and that's it. So Sopranos is really, every important thing is all about food. And it's also one of our great loves. Because we quote it to each other, we talk about it. So welcome, Phil.
Yeah, and even though we talk about American food, but this is, it's like
it's Italian-American. American-Italian.
Yes, Italian-American.
We
even have our own civil rights.
I like this scene. I've thrown this on Phil. He might know it because Carmela, Christopher, Tony, and Adriana are out to dinner together. And in this scene, they're talking about someone's wedding, how they got a caterer. And Christopher, who sort of loses it a lot, he wasn't really born to this because he's like, "Is this all you people talk about is food?"
Food, exactly. Yeah.
I'm just so sick of it. And it is. And I actually feel sorry for Christopher a lot of the time because I don't think he wasn't cut out for it.
Yeah, but he did have that attitude.
Oh, yeah?
Because he went off like a match. Be nice and calm, and next thing you know, he's shooting somebody.
That is exactly right. We'll go to...
Oh, and the pizza place. You got to respect the pizza.
My pizza never hurt nobody.
Yeah, that's right. I love when the cops come in. "Is this your pizza?" "I don't know."
It's your box.
I don't know. It's the I don't know who, what, where.
So there's the perfect example.
That's the first
of
thing we grow up. You ask somebody, like a teacher asks you something, "Who did this?" "Did what?" "Did you do this?" "Who?"
I love it.
But where were you when this happened? What?
What?
Where?
What are you talking about?
Yeah, well, that's where they all got it from because this is how we answered back.
That's right.
You're never committed to anything.
Well, the story was Anthony Jr. and some of his friends got into a bit of trouble.
Yeah.
And they left the pizza behind. So they find the pizza box and the owner's like, "No, my pizza never hurt nobody."
No.
He goes, "Is it a special order?" So he calls the guy from the back. He presses the top of the pizza. He goes, "Double mozzarella and sausage." "I know who ordered this." And so there goes Anthony.
Oh, this is their father-in-law's birthday.
No, this is Anthony Jr.'s birthday.
Junior's birthday.
This is the first episode. And this is when Livia calls up to say she can't come. So then Anthony comes out. Anthony Jr. comes out. What? No effing ziti?
Watch your mouth. And the priest is right behind
Then the
him.
priest hits him on the butt, and they all go, "Hey, hey!" So, and that's how Livia ruins things.
Yeah.
So he's waiting for that, but that's the day that Tony collapses as well. So it all goes downhill from here.
Yeah.
And
And the last scene, he's in the refrigerator. How many times have we been there? Open up the refrigerator. Last day of the week, there's nothing in here.
That's
What are you looking for? I don't know.
So how many times did he get there? He gets lunch meat out.
Yeah.
He gets the Tropicana juice out. He slams it so hard the thing shakes. The difference is he's dressed. He's usually in his bathrobe.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he goes out with his bathrobe on.
And so that was part of his,
His demeanor.
that's it. Comes in, needs a little something to eat.
Yep.
And is always there. Carmela's always, the most she's ever filmed is in that kitchen. Cooking for the family and all that. And Tony, you can see that I've done that. If there's mortadella in that fridge, I might hit it a few times. We hope you are enjoying the best bits of 2021.
There's more.
There's more. Not just steak knives. We'll be back with a new podcast Wednesday, the 26th of January.
And we will be back. See you soon.